Welcome to Learn English podcast.
My English journey from zero to speaking confidently improve your English. Hello everyone. Whether you're just starting to learn English or you're looking to improve your speaking skills, you've come to the right place. Before we start this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel to get daily videos, and I don't want you to miss any of our lesson study. I have never attended an international school, nor have I ever lived in an English-speaking country. But by learning English on my own in a lazy way, I managed to achieve a pretty good level in English. I would say learning English is about sharing ideas, connecting with others, and improving your life. And this is what so many schools get so wrong. I remember studying English in high school. It was all about memorizing the rules and words so that I could pass some test. The few speaking opportunities that I did have were just so unnatural. Have you ever had the opportunity of feeling more frustrated when you leave your class than you were when you got there? Now, time is our most valuable resource, so you need to spend your time and energy wisely while learning English. I actually also completed my bachelor's and master's degrees, which were instructed in English. But today, I want to share with you guys more specifically about how I learned English by myself in a fun and lazy way. So let's get right in. First step, watch YouTube videos or any other media you prefer. Watch it without English subtitles first. For at least, I would say, 35 minutes a day for about a week. You might be wondering why. Why without English subtitles? Because personally, I find it much less stressful to watch videos in the beginning without subtitles. It can be overwhelming sometimes with so many subtitles, so many new vocabulary words, and so on. Remember, we are here to have fun, right? We are here to enjoy the language learning process and to enjoy life. So let's not overwhelm ourselves in the first week of learning this language. Another important reason to watch videos without subtitles is to try to develop your language sense from day one. So when you're watching the videos, try to focus on how this language is spoken by people, tones, rhythm, and also how people speak English, their facial expressions, their mouth movements, their body language, and so on. Have you ever heard the statement that our personalities shift when speaking a different language? Step number 2. After watching videos without subtitles for about a week, it's time to turn on your subtitles and watch with English subtitles. I usually prefer to watch videos that are less than 10 minutes long. Otherwise, I find it quite easy to get overwhelmed as a beginner, even without knowing the language. A familiar topic like this would help me immensely in understanding the context and also in guessing the meaning of sentences and woe. Third step. Pick a short video that you love watching and repeat after each sentence of what the speaker said with emotion, as if you were the speaker yourself. This is very important. You might wonder why with emotion. Based on my personal experience, I find myself improving much faster, especially in speaking. When I involve my emotions in reading English out loud, like mimicking their tones, their rhythms, their facial expressions, and even their hand gestures. I remember when I was a teenager, I loved watching my Higgins content to the extent that I even memorized the whole scripts of some of my favorite videos and acted them out myself. Just involve your emotions in reading the English sentences dotted. It is also much more interesting and fun to do that. At least, that's what I felt. You might be wondering, do I look up new words when watching videos? Well, yes, sometimes I do, but only when I feel like doing it and only when I'm curious about a certain word. I've never followed any strict rules. Like having to write down all the new words you don't know and look them up later. Or you have to write down at least 12 words each day in order to memorize them, etc. I just do what I feel like doing and have fun. Step 4. Best way to improve speaking skill, honestly. You can talk about anything you want. Like anything, whether it's about your day or about the videos or articles that you read that day. But personally, I find it super useful to talk to yourself when you experience some sort of emotion, like when you are excited, happy, angry, sad, confused, etc. I find it very funny because whenever I run into some crappy situations that make me really angry and want to complain a lot, I usually, all of a sudden, become really good at English speaking when complaining about things. Lol. But I guess it's a good thing. So I think, in general, just involve your emotions when you speak and learn English. It is very helpful and effective in improving your English skills in general. Step number 5. Great way to improve your writing skill. Congratulations on reaching this stage after you have been doing steps 1 to 4 for at least 1 hour a day for approximately 6 months. Well, it depends on how much time you spend on English each day, so it could be longer or shorter than 6 months. But anyway, if you have reached this stage, you can start incorporating reading English novels into your English learning routine. Just pick one novel that you like and that you can understand at least 58% of. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fun to read. I would recommend reading fiction over non-fiction like novels, because books, in general, have very few pictures, right? As a language learner, it can be quite difficult to digest sometimes, and it can even be a bit boring. But usually, novels will keep you engaged with the story. At least, that's what I find to be quite effective in helping me stay focused. If you are already in or about to join an academic environment that would require you to use English, I would highly suggest reading more English books. I find it very helpful in improving my grammar and writing skills. I think the foundations I built through reading English books helped me significantly in writing English essays and my graduation thesis for both my bachelor's and master's programs. Step 6. Challenging but very effective method, last but probably the most challenging step. Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready, Dotso. to put yourself in an environment or situation that will require you to use English. For example, I decided to join a bachelor's program that used English as an instructional language. Of course, you don't need to do a program like this in order to improve your English. You can, for example, join an online course with a subject that you are interested in, which is instructed in English, or you can find a language exchange partner with whom you can talk about casual things using English. You could join a meetup where everyone is required to speak only in English. Or if you are working, you can try to seek any opportunities you can to interact with English-speaking clients, whether via email or video chat. You can also do like me, film videos in English and post them online. I'm not inventing anything. All of this is from scientific research, so you memorize a sentence or you memorize a dialogue. And this memory of that sentence and dialogue is going to be readily available to you for every day. You can use it in different contexts, and so this is a very effective method for learning to speak. Now, how do you learn English through writing? The answer here is that there's an activity that is pretty good. You read about a topic, right? For example, about chess or about tennis. Whatever it is that you like or that you want to write about, you read about it and then you write about it. First you read and then you write an essay or at least a paragraph about it. Then you get some feedback from a teacher, ideally, to point out the mistakes that you made and where you could sound more natural and where improvements could be made. If you want to get a teacher, I know that some people might not be able to afford one because it does cost some money, but nowadays it's pretty affordable. I'm going to put some links in the description again if you want to get some teachers to give you feedback and so on. All right, so this was output. Now, the third category, fluency development. Let me explain to you what fluency development is. When you listen to English or you speak English, there is a time component. Native speakers of English speak pretty fast. I talk pretty slowly because that's the way I talk. Even when I speak in French, I speak pretty slowly. But most people who speak English speak a lot faster and don't pronounce things as clearly as I do. So you need to get used to that. You need to get used to people speaking fast. The same thing applies to you when you speak English, right? You're not going to speak super slowly. It's important to speak at a reasonable speed. The same thing when you read English. If you're too slow, it's really annoying. When you write English, if you're too slow, it's really annoying. There are multiple techniques that you can use to be faster when you use English. Whether you're listening, speaking, writing, or reading. I think I'm going to do a video on this. So, want to learn more techniques about fluency development? Just leave me a comment down in the comment section below, and I'll make a video on it because I think it's more of a specialized topic. All right. And the fourth category, deliberate study of English. How do you do this? There are multiple ways to do this and multiple aspects to cover, such as grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation, but one of the best activities that you can do, with the most effective return on your time, is flashcards, where, diving into a next exciting topic, can you really learn to speak English without moving to an English-speaking country? Spoiler alert. Absolutely yes. A lot of my students ask me if it's possible to become fluent in English without living in the America or another English-speaking country. And the answer is a resounding yes. I'm going to share 5 creative ways my students have successfully learned to speak English naturally while staying right where they are. So if you're eager to improve your English speaking skills, you're in the right place. In fact, you can start speaking English right from your home, often at no cost. Let's jump into 5 mostly free ways to get started on your English-speaking journey. Summarizing, let's kick things off with a tip that's perfect for practicing at home. Summarizing. Here's how it works. Take an article, any article, and try to summarize it in your own words. For instance, let's say you're reading an article about the World Cup on NPR. Start by reading a paragraph. Then close your eyes and try to summarize what you just read out loud. For example, if the article says, "The first week of the World Cup is arguably the best," you might summarize it by saying, "The author thinks that the first week of the World Cup is the best. In his opinion." This method helps you practice using new vocabulary and sentence structures while speaking spontaneously. You can also use this technique with audio materials. I previously made a video about learning English with stories. Let's listen to a clip where I read a short part of a story and then ask a question. You'll use the information from the story to answer the question in your own words. Here's a practice question based on the clip. Tom felt relieved that someone else was aware of the hectic situation outside the airport. Tom told the driver the name of his hostel, which was supposed to be just 15 minutes away from the airport. Where did Tom want to go and how far away was it? You could answer, Tom wanted to go to his hostel, which was only 15 minutes away from the airport. This not only practices summarizing, but also helps you get comfortable with different sentence structures. Check out the full lesson linked above or in the description for more tips and exercises. Remember, the key to improving your English is to start speaking today. My next tip for learning to speak English without moving to another country is to use websites like meetup.com. I can almost guarantee that no matter where you live in the world, there will be a meetup in your city or nearby, and there's a good chance that there might be an English-speaking meetup as well. Let's take a quick look at the website to explore the options. Go to meetup.com. Imagine you don't already have an account. So scroll down to language and culture. Type in a big city. How about Sao Paulo and Spain? Great. Here we see that there are, wow, 9,000 English speakers. This is excellent. Click join this group. There's no excuse. Just go for it. Of course, the more you speak, the better. But I know many of you are busy. Everyone is, right? So try to do this at least once a month. Use my other speaking tips throughout the week for those times when you're not physically speaking with someone. Speaking with someone at least once a month really boosts your motivation and shows you the real-world application of speaking English. Being understood and understanding others is incredibly helpful. My third tip for improving your English is hosting an exchange student for a week, a few days, a month, or even just for dinner. Hosting an exchange student can be a fantastic way to practice English. I've had several students recently email me excitedly about hosting exchange students. One example is a Korea student who invited a 17-year-old North American student to stay at his house for a few days. This allowed his 17-year-old Korea daughter to spend time with her and also provided him with a chance to be immersed in English conversations. Another example is a student from Australia who hosted a British exchange student for a couple of weeks during summer vacation. This experience gave her the opportunity to connect with the student and enjoy real conversations, while showing her around and exploring together. My final example comes from my personal experience. A few years ago, I went to dinner at my friend's house, and there were 12 people from 12 different countries. She had invited people from the local community who didn't have a place to eat dinner. Whether they were visiting, studying at the local university, or just seeking connections, the common language at this gathering was English. Everyone shared their conversations and enjoyed the dinner in English. You don't need to host someone in your home to have this experience. Call your local university. They're usually willing to help students connect with local families to make them feel more integrated and comfortable. You can host students for dinner once a week, once a month, or just be a contact if they need someone to talk to. Contact your local university or search for local student exchange programs online. Being proactive, taking action, rather than just passively watching, is what will help you improve your English without spending thousands of dollars to move to the America. My fourth tip is to get involved in your community, especially in places where tourists gather. For example, if there's a festival or event coming up that needs volunteers for the information desk. This is a great opportunity. When I visited other countries and needed help, it was incredibly comforting to find someone who could speak English at the information desk. If you volunteer at a festival, an event, or even at an English pub, Irish bar, or American restaurant, you likely encounter English speakers. Engaging with your community and finding those opportunities to use English can be very beneficial. So take advantage of these chances to practice and improve your English. My fifth tip is to speak with someone else online. But there's a crucial point here. Do it safely. Never share your Skype ID, WhatsApp phone number, or email address in YouTube comments or other public forums. There are many bots and scammers who prey on this information, leading to spam calls and emails instead. Use platforms designed for language exchange, such as language exchange websites or apps. These platforms connect you with language learners safely and effectively. Be proactive and use these tools to practice English without falling prey to online scams. Let's imagine you just watched a video about using should have. You can watch it here. Suppose someone commented, "I should have started learning English with Anissa earlier." It's a great comment. And you feel a connection because you think the tone thing. You also should have started earlier. You can respond to their comment by saying, "When did you start learning English with Anissa?" And add, "I agree. I should have started earlier." This is a great way to start a conversation and build a connection. Avoid immediately suggesting, "Hi, let's speak on Skype," because speaking with a stranger in a second language can be daunting, especially if you've just met them online. Instead, engage in a few comments back and forth to get to know each other. After exchanging for 5 or 6 comments, you can suggest connecting on Facebook. "Hey, do you have Facebook? Let's connect. Share your Facebook name and send a private message to continue the conversation. And remember, if they're a beautiful girl or a handsome guy, be respectful and polite. Avoid coming off as creepy. Many of my students in the Fearless Fluency Club connect daily via Facebook Messenger, Skype, and Google Hangouts. It's a fantastic way to practice English, learn about different cultures, and make new friends. You can join us for just $5 for the first month using the coupon code NEW. You'll find many passionate English learners eager to connect. These are just a few top tips for learning to speak English without going to a classroom, paying a tutor, or moving to the America. I hope you find at least one of these tips helpful. Remember, the key is to always be proactive. Even if you move to the America, you would still need to be proactive to improve your English. Many students in the Americas struggle with English because they don't actively seek out opportunities to practice. You clicked on this video to improve your English speaking skills, so be kind to yourself and take action. Now, I have a question for you. Do you have any other creative ways to speak English naturally without leaving your home country? Share your ideas in the comments below. My advice to you is to keep trying and to keep pushing through even when it gets hard. Especially if you care about this. Being fluent in a language that is not your own is a difficult thing to accomplish, but it's not impossible. Anyone who is passionate enough and has enough motivation can do it. Thanks for joining me today on English. If you found this lesson helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay updated with all our latest videos. Thank you for joining me in today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming lessons. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next lesson.